How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another Marvel Snap video. Today, we have one of the most fun decks that I've played in a while, and that's because it uses a lot of cards that I don't usually play with, and probably a lot of cards that people think aren't very good, and you probably haven't played with a lot of them either. I got this list from Dexter. I was listening to his podcast a few days ago. He showed this list, and Dara actually showed another list that was pretty similar, but this one looked a little bit more fun to me, so I've been trying it. That was actually probably about a week ago. I've since climbed from about 77 to 94, I think I'm at right now, using this list and an Electro ramp list as well. But this list has been responsible for a lot of my climb, and it's a lot more competitive than I thought it would be. It's not anywhere near like Thanos or Shuri or anything like that, but it is a really fun list. So as usual, before we get started, if you love all things Marvel Snap and you love video games, make sure you like and subscribe, hit the bell. Let's talk about the deck list. Okay, so the cards that I get to play that I don't usually play. Sentry, for sure. Viper, I don't get to play her too much. Luke Cage and Hazmat combo, I've tried a couple decks with them, but not a whole lot. Valkyrie kind of sees play here and there. And Debris. I mean, half the deck are cards that you don't see in most of the top decks, and it kind of leads to a lot of fun and unique gameplay that you don't normally see unless you're playing these cards. Let's talk about Sentry, because that's the main card here that is probably the worst card in the deck, unless you have some support cards. So if you don't know Sentry, when you play him, it has an on reveal, add a negative 10 power void to the right location. Obviously, we don't want this negative 10 power void, so we need ways to either get rid of it or make it decent. So we have Carnage to destroy it, we have Viper to give it to our opponent, and we have Valkyrie to make it a 3 power. This gives us a lot of outs to deal with that negative 10 power and turn it into a positive. The goal of this deck, I think the main win condition is Luke Cage and Hazmat. You can drop Luke Cage on like turn 2 if you need to, but generally surprising your opponent with a Luke Cage on turn 6 and a Hazmat on turn 6. The play line generally is Hood on 1, Carnage on 2 to destroy the Hood if you have Viper in hand, or if you don't have Sentry in hand. You can also Zabu on turn 2. The Zabu play is probably a little bit better, lets you play Sentry and Typhoid Mary and Enchantress for cheap in upcoming turns. When you get Zabu and Sarah down by turn 6, it's actually pretty insane. You can play Sentry, Typhoid Mary, and Enchantress all on the same turn. Or more likely, Sentry, Typhoid Mary, Luke Cage, and Hazmat all on turn 6. Where I notice this deck struggles a little bit is kind of in the early game. It's trying to find the right play by holding Hazmat or finding a good target for Carnage. Sometimes you have Sentry in hand, so you don't want to play Viper or Carnage on turn 2 because you only have one of them and you need to deal with that 10 power void. So the early turns take a little bit of figuring it out and getting a feel for the deck. By turn 3, you're looking to play Debris, maybe a Sentry or Typhoid Mary if you have them reduced by Zabu. Turn 4, Sentry or Typhoid Mary. Turn 5, you're looking to drop Sarah. And turn 6, you're looking to vomit a bunch of stuff onto the board. Like I said earlier, Luke Cage and Hazmat are kind of your primary win condition with this deck. You can flood their side of the board with Debris. Typhoid Mary won't have her negative effect because of Luke Cage. One thing that should be noted is if you have Luke Cage out and you play Valkyrie on one of your cards, like Typhoid Mary or Sentry, it won't reduce their power to 3. Valkyrie's card reads set all cards at this location to 3 power, so it doesn't kind of read like it's subtracting power, but it is. It's reducing the power. And so if you have a Sentry out, or a Typhoid Mary out on a location and they have something big and you play a Valkyrie on that location, it'll reduce all of their cards to 3. It won't reduce the cards that you have on that location that are above 3, and it will bring up cards like Luke Cage or Hood up to 3. It's a little bit of a weird interaction, but you should be aware of it. It took me a second because I've never really played with these cards to figure that out. And that's kind of it for the explaining. It's a lot easier to kind of show you how the deck is played. So I'm going to show you guys a few games. I haven't filmed them yet, so hopefully they go well. As usual, if you love all things Marvel Snap and you love video games, make sure you like and subscribe. I just started a Patreon, so go check that out. And let's get to the gameplay. So, Sentry in hand, Viper to send it over. Luke Cage probably going to come down this turn. We're just going to throw him down so we don't have to worry about it later. Maybe not with a Hazmat in hand. We're looking currently with our curve to Sentry, then Sarah on 5, and then all 3 of these on turn 6. So I think we're going to sit. It's not bad, but it does stop us from guaranteeing sending the void over. But I think we're going to debris right. Get some cards flooded here. I guess we're kind of just hoping that a leech doesn't come out. I like this. If he wants to flood Quantum Tunnel, that's not so bad. Might be able to send the rock over with Viper. Daredevil. Professor X. So I think we're okay here. Unfortunately, Sarah, we can't play Sarah right because we need Luke Cage to stick. What we could do is Carnage right. Look to Viper this over and pull something from our deck. And then we'll Luke Cage right Hazmat. I think that's probably our best bet. Hopefully if they play into Quantum Tunnel, nothing big gets pulled. We have to win one of these locations. Left, we should win.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here.
All right, so hopefully no Cosmo and hopefully just a stone here. Okay, that's fine. I think we win here. Not with the hood. Dang. Okay, so we were gonna demon, but now it's just an easy Typhoid Luke Cage Hazmat play. And I think we have this one. Snapping here could make sense, but I think I'm going to try to get the 4 cubes. I'm also not 100% sure this does win. If he does play a Cosmo, then we don't win. If he does play a Cosmo, we could still win. It is a tie. I'm going to snap. Just hope for the best. It is still a good amount of power. Blue Marvel. So that lets us kind of retie there. It's going to be close. Eight. Pretty good. Victory. That was a fun game. Okay. So we have Hood into Carnage, which isn't too bad. We can play Hood left, let it get the plus power. We may not destroy it with Carnage if we get a better 2-drop, so that we have an answer for Sentry. Zabu's gone now. So much for that better 2-drop. Negative zone. It's not so bad for us. We can drop kind of our big cards there. I think we're going to play Carnage here. We're probably going to play Sentry and not deal with the Void. Hopefully draw a Valkyrie or something. We can send it over. And I think we're going to play Debris into Camartage, try to flood their side of the board. If we get Luke Cage, it'll be very good for negative zone as well. They're snapping here. I think we're going to stay in. This is pretty good. We are kind of relying on drawing Luke Cage. We've got 3 draws and 5 in our deck, so not so bad. That's kind of unfortunate, but it's okay. We've got a little bit of catching up to do here. I think we can Sentry left. That'll put us ahead. We can look to try to... We can Viper right, and that'll send both Debris and the -10 over. We still need Luke Cage. Luke Cage would be pretty nuts here, actually. There it is. So we're going to send both of these over. I think we're going to snap here. Probably play Demon as well. Maybe we play Demon left. This is pretty good. And then Luke Cage and Hazmat. We're just going to snap back. I imagine they're going to retreat. Unless they have something crazy. Killmonger would be pretty good for them. It will let them catch up in negative zone. Okay. There's a She-Hulk and a wave. That's not great, but I think we can just drop Luke Cage and be in an okay spot. Yeah, because we clogged up their side of the board. I don't really know what they can play here. Killmonger doesn't do it for them. Is Luke Cage better? Or... yeah, I think Luke Cage is kind of our only option here. So, and he's gone. It's a pretty good game. Kind of gives you an idea of what you can do. If that wave didn't come down, we kind of clog their side of the board. Luke Cage and Hazmat, even if Camartage wasn't there, kind of shows you how the deck plays out.